Greetings, guys. I hope you are doing very well. In today's lesson, we'll be looking into time and price, time and price session trading, right? Time and price session trading. Now, this is very and mostly applicable to forex, even though it's also used in crypto sometimes and works sometimes in crypto. But then, it's mainly the forex stuff, right? So we'll be looking into trading sessions. We'll be looking into how to trade time, the price with time. Now, these things aren't price then time. It is what time then price. So um time dictates the most what price is going to do, right? Most of the times, okay, even though the structure is okay, the price action is going fine, right? There are some things that would happen at particular period of time, and this is what we'll be looking in today's session, okay? So moving into the topic for today, we have this now. So what can you see here? You can see the sessions we have, right? You can see the sessions we are going to be talking about, and this session timing are when market opens, or when transactions are being done the mostly in these places right now in the Asian countries. The market trades mostly from what 1 a.m. That's 1 a.m. in our midnight time here, 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. right? 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning, 1 a.m. in the midnight to 6 a.m. in the morning. That's the Asian session. Now the London session is what the 7 a.m. in the morning to 11 a.m. right? And the New York session is 12 p.m. in the afternoon to what 3 p.m. in the afternoon. So you have to put all this into your brain, right? I'm also going to give you an indicator that I use right on my chart that will just clearly highlight time differences for me. Okay, yeah. So that's that for that. Now, how does this things works? How does this stuff works? How does this stuff works? Now, one of the things I would say is, in a day, it's very likely that price would clear the low of what of a session. The low of what? The low of a session. Price would clear the low of what? Of a session. Now, if you look at this very well, you see at this Asian session being 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. Now, there's a time difference between the close of between this 6 a.m. to what? To this to this 7 a.m. right? There's a 1 hour difference. That's 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. right? So now most of the times we see the difference in that time, that 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., as a time where moves are not valid enough, right? Where price do not really come into POIs, okay? Where price do not what really come into POIs. Now I'm just going to be showing you how I do my own stuff, so you guys can start to imitate that also on your trading, okay? Now what we have here, we can see this is the Asian session. So let's just kind of like mark out a block for the Asian session. Let's mark a block out like this. Let's say this is the Asian session. Okay, I'm just going to turn this to my OB. So let's say from here, from this beginning is 1 a.m. in the midnight to 6 a.m. in the morning, okay? 1 a.m. in the midnight to 6 a.m. in the morning. That's 4 hour difference, right? London session is how many? 7 to 11. That's like no, this one is a 5 hour difference, 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. Why this London is 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. That's a 4 hour difference. And this New York, 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. That's 3 hours difference, right? So let's say this is our New York. Now, how do you know these things? This you just have to what to this just follows what the time, right? The time. Then the height of it is determined by where price goes to during that time. So once it's 1 a.m. in the midnight, the Asian session opens, right? Now you can see price doing anything, wants to do anything it wants to do, go down, come up, do this, do that, right? Do this, do a lot of things, right? Now, once it's what 6 a.m. in the morning, um, that does not say this movement should close. No, it does not say the movement should close, but that will just mark out that what that will just mark out that uh that the what that the Asian session is what closed. The Asian session is closed, right? So that does not affect what price wants to do at that time. So it's your job to now see that okay, from this 1 a.m. to 6 a.m., anywhere the market has moved to is the what Asian session. So you can mark your box, use your this rectangle to mark it out, right? To mark out the high and the low, right? To check out where price goes to, like where price traded to up and down during that 1 a.m. to 6 a.m., right? If price actually came to like this place before 6 a.m., this would be your Asian high. Do you get? If price just did like this, you know that, oh, where is the high during this session? You know that this is the high here. Then you can see, okay, this is your what? Your Asian high, right? Now, once it's you see price doing its stuff, still moving. Now, once it's 7 a.m. again, you see what the London session do what open, right? You see the London session also open. Let's say price was actually doing its stuff here. Then it was now 7 a.m. It opens. Then anything the London session to does, you just have to be to see for it, right? You have to see for it. Now let's say once it closes here at 11 a.m. Now you have to mark out, okay, this is where the London session traded to. This is the low of the London session. This is the high of what the London session. And then when it's 12 p.m. also, when the New York session opens, you'd also simply what be should mark it out to right. You should also mark it out. So I'm just showing you this one to be able to know how to draw your highs and lows of what of each sessions, highs and lows of each sessions, right? So it does not have to deal with the time alone. The time just does its own thing, right? It's your job to now mark out, okay, this is the high that was formed during 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. This is the high and low that was formed during 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. And this is the high, right? And the low that was formed during what 12 p.m. to what to 3 p.m. So this is clearly the what the Asian session, this is the what the London session, and this is the New York session, right? Now let's see what we can do. um what do we now this is something I said something earlier. I said um every day price mostly seek to take out the liquidity of what of a session low, right? Of a session low, and that will be probably what the Asian session. That's to take out the liquidity of a session low or a session high, of a session low or a session high. Meaning, once the Asian closes, for example, price will seek liquidity probably below that the Asian low that was formed or the high. And when you say price take liquidity, it means price will just go above it, tap into a POI and a reverse, right? Price will go above it or go below it, tap into a POI and reverse, right? And reverse. So if we see price trade, if we see price take the liquidity of an Asian session high or low, right, and tap into a POI, that can give us a knowing that what that the price is what ready to reverse, right? And if that does not happen during the Asian session, we can look forward. We know that well after for us to have a liquidity grab during an Asian session, that means the Asian session has formed already, right? That means the Asian session have formed already. So it means London session is what we'll be looking forward what to make sure that it does that, right? And if the London session does not also do that, we can make sure that what after the London session closes, we can look forward to what to checking the New York session to see if it will grab the London high or low to reverse, right? So what does that tells us? That tells us that if we have a POI like this, let's say we have a supply zone like this, it's possible that during the Asian session, price won't tap into this POI yet, right? You can just see price doing a lot of things, right? Doing a lot of things. And then let's say it's now 6 o'clock in the morning and the Asian session closes, right? So you have to mark this as what as your Asian session. So you can easily say, okay, this is the high of the Asian session and this is the low. No, let's say we had something like this, and you can say, okay, this is the what the low right, of the what, of the Asian session, of the Asian session. So I'm just going to put this here, right here, that okay, this is the Asian session, right? Okay, the Asian session, right? Now if you see something like this, and according to your structure, you know that what, okay, probably let's say we add like something like this, we add something like this, and then a break like this to the downside, right? A break like this to the downside, you're not like, oh, we broke structure here already, isn't it? We did what, we broke structure here, we broke structure here, and we are not now what, we are expected to do what, to come back into this zone and go down, right? And go down. Now if you see something like this, even though you already have the knowing that okay, okay, price should trade from here downward and stuff like that, now you can also use your session trading conference telling you that okay, probably Asian session wants trade into that POI, right? Because it's possible, it will be ideal for the London session to trade into the POI, meanwhile taking out the liquidity of this Asian eye, right? Remember what I told you, that a session will always seek to take out liquidity from either the low or the high of the former session. Okay, so once the London session opens, that's why you see most of us trying to come online like 7 a.m. in the morning if we want to catch London trades, right? If we want to catch London trades, we'll try to come online like 7 a.m. in the morning, so we'll be able to see the POI that is probably close to a London high or a London low, and see if price would like to reverse from there, right? Let's say this is from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Then 7 a.m. now opens here, right? Now we'll be watching what price wants to do. We would want price to take out this Asian eye, right? Let's say during 7 a.m. we now see something like this. Price now takes out this Asian eye, taps into that POI, and changes character like this on the lower time frame, right? Now what will you do? You just simply what, look for a re-entry and trade downward, take out this weak low, right? So you'll be targeting what, this Asian session low, right? You'll be targeting the Asian session low, or probably the low that was formed during all this come down, right? That would be what, a sell side liquidity, right? So you can be targeting there as your target. So what does this just simply tells you? This simply shows you that what, that the London session took out the Asian session high, tapped into a POI and did what, and reversed. So for this day, we've taken out the high, of we've grabbed the liquidity of the Asian session high, right? So it's also applicable. It can also happen to the low, right? It can also happen to the low. You can see something like this. You can see something like this. We broke structure to the upside. Now during the Asian session, instead of us coming to this demand zone, it didn't happen during the Asian session. Then during the London session, we now see price do that, right? We now see price do what? We now see price during the London session come down to take out the low of this Asian session. Now, most people used to say Asian session lows and highs are liquidity that in a day price will seek to go above the high and the low together. Like price will seek to go above below this low and also try to go above this high. Now, it does not happen every day, it depends on your structure. So that's why it's very paramount for you to always mark out the structure first before what, before looking into any other thing. Okay, so once you see something like this, it's very ideal that was okay. Once in this London session, as London session opened, it's 7 a.m. in the morning, and then you saw the Asian session liquidity low being grabbed, and then we tapped into a PUI, probably changing character, right? Probably changing the character like this. Now, what does this tell you? It tells you that what, okay, I think it will be ideal for me to do what? It will be ideal to um it would be ideal to take a re-entry. Okay, it would be ideal to take a re-entry. So some of the times, if this is a very small move, I won't just take a re-entry. I won't just take a re-entry. I'll just enter from the current market price from where it's changed character from, right? I'll just do something like this. Once it changes character, I enter that CMP. Oh, sorry. Once it changes character, I'll enter that CMP, right? And put my SL just below the low formed, and then my targets are the Asian eye or the next buy side liquidity, right? So what you want to do is, okay, you want to actually seek liquidity below or above session. Now, this does not mean you will be trading only time and price. You need to get your structure in place first, mark out your zones, mark out your structures, then you use time and price as well as in confluence, right? To seeking these things. That's why you see some people try to come online in the morning, okay, 7 a.m. Let me see if I can catch a London trade. You just want to see if price will take out the Asian or low or high, tap into a valid POI and reverse, and then they'll just take the trade probably during 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. in the morning, right? So it's also applicable. Sometimes New York session also takes out the low or high of the London session, just like this, right? It also takes out the low or the high of the London session, just like this. Like this Asian session can be a London session, while this new London session we're talking about can be what? Can be a New York session. So the New York session can also take out the high or low of a London session, right? Of a London session. It just depends on what? It just depends on your structure. You marking out you marking out your you marking out your structures and liquidity, okay, marking out your structures and liquidity. So we can see or sometimes the Asian session high or low can form like inducements, right? You can see it will form like an inducement, form almost there, move away from there. Now it can even do as if it changes character here. It will do like a change of character here, right? And some people might be looking that, oh, let's just take an entry from here. So it will, what will the London session just do? Just come back to take out the low, clear this people's SL. Now in the London session, the London Q zone is just like the opening time, right? Things that happen at the very first moment of the London session, the Asian Q zone too, and the what New York Q zone. So these are the times for the Q zones. That's the KZ. Okay. So it takes out even forming this fake change of character, they're not knowing that it's an inducement yet. Okay. Now it should always follow your structure. If this Asian tapped into this valid POI, it can be ideal for you to take your entry from there, okay? But then we just have to I just have to teach you what you can expect from time and price trading. Okay, so the time price was six what liquidity. So time then price. 7 a.m. in the morning, we can expect price to seek to take out the Asian session high or low, right? So that's what time then price. We are mindful of the time first, then conscious of what? Of the price. Okay, so that's that on time and price. Let's just try to go into the chart and see some examples for ourselves. Now this is the GBP USD chart, right? This is the GU chart. Now what can you see here? This was a POI from a long time range, right? From a long time I drew here. Now what do I see? I saw that price came here, put a liquidity here and went up, right? So we can mark this as what? As an inducement, right? We can mark this as an inducement. You can mark this as an inducement, right? Now, what do you now see price do? What did price do here? What can you see price do here? When price now tapped into the real zone, we can see this kind of movement. From this high, price came here, right? Price came to this low. Now the price retraced back up here, right? Then came back into the low again and did what? And changed character on this lower time frame. Changed what character on this lower time frame. What do you expect price to do? Price should come into this demand zone, right? And start trading upward, isn't it? And start what? And start trading upward. Yeah. And start what? And start trading upward, right? Now, but do you see price do that? No. Price didn't do that after changing this character. This is the change of character, right? Right. This is change of character. Now, price didn't do that. What did price do? Price created an inducement here. Created what? An inducement here. An inducement here, right? Just above what? Just above the zone. Just above the zone. Now, this is my what? This is my London. This is my Asian section. You can see the time here, 1 o'clock. The time showing here. You can see from the beginning, this is the 1 o'clock of this box to what, to 6 o'clock, right? That's 5:45, just because I'm on the 15 minutes time frame, so it's leaving 1 15 minutes for me. So that's 1 o'clock to 6 o'clock. Now, do you see price tap into there? No, price did not tap into there during all the Asian session. Now, this was the Asian session low, right? During this time, this was the low created, and this was what, the high created before it ended here, right? So this low is also the what, the Asian session low, the Asian session low. Now, what happened? This is the 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Nothing really good happened. Now, when the London session opened by 7 a.m., what do you see price do? Price came down to clear the Asian low liquidity and also this inducement of this long time, right? Because we already broke structure to the upside again. After it went up, we came to create the inducement, then we went up to break structure, right? You can see this here. We went up to do what? To break structure, right? Now, this is a what? This is an inducement, and this is the Asian session low. Now, in the London session, price came down to clear this liquidity and did what? And retraced from there. Cleared the liquidity and did what? And retraced from there and retraced from there. So probably if you go to the 1 minute time frame, you would have seen some kind of re-entry here, right? Some kind of entry here, and there's something about liquidity confirmation entry, meaning if price comes into your taps into the zone in the new session and closes above, and probably on the 15 minutes time frame, closes above that inducement zone, that inducement, right? You would not have an inducement, that the only inducement you have is this one, so we want to see price close above here, okay? But then if we see price close above the inducement, any inducement we have close above it, it's idea that once price closes here, we can take an entry from here, right? Pick an entry from this CMP, and our SL would still be at this low, because we don't know if price will still love to come into this zone again, right? So we shouldn't just put our zone here, because we definitely probably do not see a change of character on the 1 minute time frame, but we're just using what, liquidity sweep confirmation entry, okay? Liquidity sweep confirmation entry. So we can still keep our SL here, and then with our TPB, our TP will be at this I form there, right? At this I form there. So that's a what, that's a 2 hour trade, right? And price did what? Price just went up to its target. Now, if you weren't able to catch this, right, when it's tapped, now we can see another change of character occurring. Now, another change of character did what occurred, right? This was another break. Sorry, I mean a break of structure. So another break of structure occurred here. This is the first break of structure, and this is the second break of structure. Now we also have a re-entry. Now, I told you guys that in FX, for a valid what re-entry, we should have a liquidity, right? We should have a liquidity. We should have a what? A liquidity in the form of what? An inducement, okay? In the form of an inducement. And what can we see here? We can see price do what? From this low, came up here, then went to this low again, right? Before going up to break structure. So we can just easily mark this as our inducement low. We can expect price to take out this low, right? Before going up again. So what the price do? Price came down what? To take out the low. We can mark this as what? As our inducement. So you can see me using inducement entries. You just see me place my entries around this on these lines, and my SL will just, now since we've broken structure, this is a strong glow already, so our SL can be here, right? Our SL can be here, and then our TP will be this high, isn't it? So this is a what, almost a 3 hour trade, and price did what, came to our entry. Price came to our entry, took out the inducement low, probably tap into maybe the 5 minute or a lower time frame POI, and did what, went to target, right? And went to target. So this is just how to use time and price confluence to trade, okay? This is how to use time and price confluence to trade your zones. So that's just how it is. Meanwhile, don't forget, don't just start picking highs and lows. Mark out your structures first. It's very, very paramount. So after you've marked out your structures, that's when you can now start looking for time and the price confluences, right? That's when you can start looking forward to using your what, the time and price confluences, okay? So yeah, that's just all on time and price. Probably um after the risk management video I'll do for you guys, we'll start having Zoom classes to show you per day or per week price action, right? And how I spot these things using these liquidities on my own chart also, okay? So see you guys in the next video.